What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the Everton Extra Show. It's been a long time since we've done this. I think it's been about 2 years since the last one we did. Rhiad, good to see you. How are we?
Not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Very good, very good. Stressful end to the season, or stressful whole season, really.
Yeah.
With a nice, luckily pleasant end, but obviously onwards and upwards now. How are you feeling regarding Everton?
Um, Mixed emotions, really.
Yeah,
I mean, judging off the transfer links we've had in the past few days, I'm a bit pessimistic.
yeah.
But it was nice to end the season that way. Well, it weren't, but it was.
No. Yeah, I
Um,
agree with you. I know what you mean. I think the sad thing is really no one really wanted to have another season like that after the whole Palace debacle, did they? I mean, whilst it was, I really liked what Dyche said in terms of, and I think it proved that Frank Lampard was just the wrong man for the job for Everton,
yeah,
really. I think all that relegation battle just got far too glorified, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
a club like Everton, we can't be glorifying a relegation battle and staying up in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? We need
no,
to be glorifying finishing top six and top four again, like we were years ago. Do you know what I mean? So I like Dyche in terms of, we came in and said, I think he said something along the lines of we shouldn't be celebrating that. It's not the right day in Everton's history and all that. So, I like that. I think, unfortunately, mate, what we're going to have to get to grips with is that we've got no money. So,
hmm
really, these transfer rumours, that I think they're going to continue being a bit wishy-washy, which means we'll continue to be pessimistic. Because the reality is we're probably trying to sign people on freeze at the moment. We've not raised any more money in the summer. The Gordon money, I think we're just not going to see any of that Gordon money by the looks of it.
yeah. The Gordon money's vanished, mate.
So, it's the Arteta money all over again,
Yeah.
15 years later. Jesus. So, but anyway, let's run through a couple of these rumours. What are the ones that we've seen recently?
Well, the first thing that we've heard today, is on Tom Cannon. Obviously, Tom Cannon, he's been out on loan at
Yeah,
Preston.
yeah,
Um, And I like Tom Cannon, I really do. Sean Dyche has said he's going to judge him based on his pre-season at Everton. So
right.
it's nice to see that he's going to give him a go, give him a run out. But
Yeah,
hopefully, we all wish Tom Cannon could be the answer for our striker problems. Um, Personally, I don't think he's ready yet. I think he could do with another year out on loan, but we never know. We never know. He could go out in pre-season and
yeah,
Dyche may think he's ready.
yeah. He might do. I just worry a little bit with Everton, Riyadh, when it comes to young academy players, especially strikers. It seems we always seem to have these strikers who score 30 goals in 30 games at youth level, and then they come through.
Yeah.
Your Lewis Dobbins, your Ellis Sims, your Tom Cannons. We had loads of them years ago as well.
Broadhead
We've
as well.
always had them. Well,
Broadhead.
yeah, Nathan Broadhead. Look at him, he's 25 now, I think, playing in Sunderland, or 24, 25, isn't he, Broadhead? He's
Ipswich he's at now. He's 24, 25.
Yeah. So you'll never see him. I don't know. I seen. Obviously, I'll go back to Tom Cannon in a minute, but I seen yesterday. Everton are willing to let Ellis Sims go with a future buyback fee or something. I'm not sure how much truth there is in that. I hope there's not much truth in it, because at a time where Everton really needs strikers, truthfully, we need to be trying to throw someone in the deep end, really, and just seeing who floats. If I was the manager now, I'd be saying, look, we've got DCL who's just made the glass. Look, I know he's doing all this recovery and training over the summer. If he comes back, great. But as an Evertonian, all we've seen over the 2 years now, really, is he comes back, says he's fit, and then gets injured again. So he never gets to run in the team. So if I was Sean Dyche now, I'd be going, right, I've got Lewis Dobbin, Ellis Sims and Tom Cannon. Who out of those three strikers can I throw in at the deep end and hopefully they float? And for me, that saves money on a striker if you can get one banging some goals in. But, Tom Cannon, I know you said you think he could be. I don't know. I don't think anyone's really seen enough of him. Youth level aside, you know, if he did well at Preston, great, but the Premier League's a different kettle of fish. You know, I hope he can be. I think if he wants to break into the side, the biggest thing is though, Rhiad, is he actually going to get the chance? Because for years now, even since Ancelotti used to say, yeah, I'm going to give him a go. You know, players like Nkunku, people like that, and then he got sent out on loan. So is he actually going to be given a chance to show himself? For me, Ellis Sims was done terrible. I think he was done terribly wrong. Getting called back from the loan, coming on 3 times, I think he came on.
Yeah.
At a time where we needed a striker, yet we kept on playing Neo Mope ahead of him. I thought Ellis Sims got done terribly wrong by Everton. And for me, I understand it's nice to have promise, but for me, I'm not really sure why we're talking about Tom Cannon. I think the man we should be talking about is Ellis Sims. I think he's evidently the closest one we've got to being able to play Premier League football week in, week out. So, you know, great if Tom Cannon can come and do a job. If Lewis Dobbin's the one I've wanted to see. You know this, Rhiad. We spoke about Lewis Dobbin for years. I've wanted to see him since he was 17. You know, 15, 16, 17 in the youth when we knew he was coming through. And then I can't really understand why he hasn't been given a go. I think I'd really like to see Dobbin. But, you know, if Tom Cannon can come through and do a job, if he's the one that's about to break in, great, I'll get behind him. But, you know, let's not do it for no reason, you know what I mean?
Spot on, mate, yeah. I think, like you said, Sims is the closest one to the first team. Personally, I don't think Ellis Sims is suitable for a Premier League side. I don't think he's ready to play Premier League football. I think when he's came on, he hasn't. Where if you look at the likes of Tom Cannon and Lewis Dobbin and players like that, they come in and they're hungry for it, and we've seen it in Tom Cannon's interviews over the past few days. He wants to come in and he wants to score for Everton.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Ellis Sims, he's much more relaxed, but that sort of reflects on the type of player he is. But I'm not too sure on Ellis Sims.
Yeah, you know, Ellis Sims, he comes on against Chelsea, spins out one of the best centre-halves in the world, like it or not, he is. I know he's been out of form with Chelsea recently, but Koulibaly's been one of the best centre-backs in the world for 5 years. Spun him like he wasn't there, finished it the way he did. You know, that is Premier League quality. That's not like an opinion. Yeah. That's a fact. That is Premier League quality. Every Everton fan watched Ellis Sims do that and went, "Oh my God, there's definitely a striker in there somewhere." Yeah. He's definitely got something. The question is, can he turn it consistent? Now, I agree with you. For me, it's all about hunger. Are you going to die for the badge? Are you going to die for the fans on the pitch? If Tom Cannon's hungry, I'd rather play Tom Cannon. It'll be very interesting to see, one, if he gets a game pre-season, and two, how well he does. Because I think if he does well, you know, Everton could even be looking at playing a couple of men up front. I think that's what Dyche would rather do, a 4-4-2, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But,
definitely.
You know, it all remains to be seen. Tom Cannon, I hope he can be the answer. I've heard great things about him. Obviously, we've watched footage of the academies for years. He's always looked good, an exciting player. And yeah, I hope he can come in and do it. Lord knows we need it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. On the topic of strikers, we've this morning actually been linked with a striker from Torino. He's 27 years old and his name is Antonio Sanabria. I don't know too much about him, but it is once again a striker. So it is Everton looking at strikers, and they don't seem to be facing too much competition for them. So it's good to see that we are looking at strikers, but I don't know too much about them.
I don't know. I only know a little bit about him because of Football Manager. Other than that, I don't know anything about him really. I think, look, the problem is now, right? And I know it's hard for fans, and it's hard when you've got no money to do this. But we need to make sure we're not just signing for the sake of it. Now, I don't think Dyche is going to do that, but we just need to look. We'd all rather save the wage budget if it's not going to improve the squad, right? We'd all rather that. Every Everton fan would rather that. Now, if he's got quality, if he's a bit of a gem, and he's going to cost next to nothing, then I'd say go for it, because really, there's not much you can lose. He's probably going to be better than Neil Maupay. That's the guarantee you've got. He's probably going to be better than Maupay. So I seen another one earlier today. Alfredo Morelos is a free agent now from Rangers. No?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Do you not like him?
I don't know.
Why?
I won't comment on Alfredo Morelos. All I'll say is he's a little bit unfit by the pictures I've seen.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I've always heard good things about him. I thought he could be, a good addition. Maybe not. And also, I suppose, to be fair, I think I'd rather take someone from the Italian league than the Scottish league.
I mean, we said it on the podcast yesterday. I think you could go into the Scottish league and score 12 goals, to be honest. So
yeah, but I'm actually a heavy player. I could go into the Premier League and score 12 goals. if Everton signed me, we'd be all right.
We would, yeah. Next one we've got is Isaac BABADI. He's 18 years old. He plays for PSV, and once again, it's the links with Marcel Brands, isn't it? It's Marcel Brands looking to do us favours, but it could have some link to the Jared Brandthwaite move. Obviously, we know PSV want to sign him, but the chief director or whatever has came out and said that you just don't think Marcel Brands just don't think he's going to be possible. They just can't afford him. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of European clubs looking for him. But Isaac BABADI is at 18 years old. Forward, he's played in 6 different positions at the age of 18. He's very versatile. What do you make of that, Matty?
So this is one that I'm actually really excited about. Now, I know Brands has been just can't afford them and stuff. To be honest with you, I think behind the scenes, it's more so Everton are just definitely not going to let him go. I think it's more that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I cannot see a single member of the Everton staff, as bad as Everton's board are and as bad as Everton's staff have been. Ultimately, it's Dyche and his men who make the decisions on the team. And I can't see a single member of staff looking at Jared Brandthwaite, his performance over the last 12 months, and going, nah, he doesn't fit our team. There's no way anyone says that. He's Everton need, actually, Jared Brandthwaite. A ball-playing defender. We've not had one since John Stones. Mason Holgate was meant to be the next one. Everyone knows how that's turned out. Mason Holgate is League One quality. We can't sell him fast enough. No wonder we can't get a fee for him. I can't believe 2 years ago City wanted to sign him plus John Stones. Big boo-boo from Everton, that. We should have took that when we had the chance. Should have took it when we had the chance. John Stones is now a Champions League winner, 4-time Premier League winner, and he's one of Pep Guardiola's favourite players. Brandthwaite, for me, I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but Isaac BABADI, I'm super excited about it, and I'll tell you why I'm excited about it, because it's been a long time for an Evertonian to see Everton getting linked with promising young European players, not just Englishmen or seasoned veterans or free agents or whatever. We've said it for years. Why are Everton not doing what Brighton did? What West Ham have done? Why aren't we looking outside of England? Why aren't we looking around Europe? If Brighton can do it, man, Everton can do it. I've said this so many times. Brighton have got less money than us, less funds, less scouting budget, and they're a smaller club. They might have more transfer budget right now, but they're not a richer club than Everton. So for me, I find it crazy, the scouting network that Brighton have got, and Everton can't find something half as good as that. You look at our recruitment.
Unfortunately, Everton can't look outside of England. On the topic of Jared Brandthwaite, he did an interview recently. You can read the full thing on the Everton Extras Twitter. But the key thing that we pointed out from this was, he said, my ambition is to solidify my place in the Premier League at Everton. And it's a massive statement from Brandthwaite, and it sort of it contradicts what he said in recent interviews too, because he sort of said he was open to staying at
he hinted, didn't he? Yeah, he hinted.
I think Brandthwaite's great. I love Brandthwaite, and I think he genuinely could become a Stones-like signing where in the future we sell him on for 40-50 million. And if we do, then go for it, because that's literally the Brighton model, really, isn't it? Like you've just been saying.
Yeah, but you know, Everton really, we should be looking for a long-term plan to take that one step further and not have to sell players. But unfortunately, right now we do. For me, I'm totally with you, Bram. To be honest with you, Rhiad, Branthwaite, for me, I never understood why he got sent out on loan. I never understood it. Not when our backup was Michael Keane and Mason Holgate. I never understood that. So for me, that was the wrong decision anyway. I'm totally with you. I think he's brilliant. I think it's great that he's now come out and said, you know, I want to solidify my place in the team. I think Sean Dyche could have something to do with that. I've got to be honest. I think it was probably hard for players to look at the last few managers we've had and really, really want to play for them. I know there was a few people saying about how they really, really wanted to play for Lampard and he hadn't lost the dressing room. I'm not sure how much I believe, really. Seamus Coleman was always going to come out and be professional in interviews. I know he had a great relationship with Lampard, but listen, just because he had a great relationship with him doesn't mean everyone else did, you know. Abdoulaye Doucouré was frozen out of the Lampard squad, came into the Dyche squad and was arguably our best player for the last 6 weeks. So, or one of the best players. I think Dwight McNeil takes that, really. There's just no one in the side for me who was as influential as Dwight McNeil was the last 6 weeks of the season. Not a single player. I know Onana was great when he was fit. I know Doucouré played really well. But for me, Dwight McNeil, if you look at the contributions he made to the side, I think he was probably our best player during the Dyche era. But, you know, anyway, I definitely think Branthwaite should walk into our team, really. I think him and Tarkowski have to be two of the first names on that team sheet if I was picking the side. So that's great. And, you know, for all we know as Evertonians, Branthwaite might come in and it might seem like we've signed a new player, you know?
Yeah. Next report we've got is Jack Harrison. This one comes from CBS reporter Ben Jacobs. Spurs, Newcastle and West Ham are all in the race alongside Everton for him. He's expected to leave Leeds this summer. I like Jack Harrison. What do you make of him, Matty?
I would have that signing all day. And I'll tell you why. There's a few reasons. I've liked him since Leeds got promoted, since I first seen him. I remember watching the game where we drew 2-2 with Leeds. Calvert-Lewin and Gray scored.
Was it at Ellen Road?
Yeah, at Ellen Road. Calvert-Lewin scored the penalty and Damari Gray scored the first goal they ever scored for Everton. That brilliant running and a left foot finish. And I remember watching that game and me and my dad were saying all through the game, Jack Harrison was a really, really positive player for Leeds. I think he's quick. He's got a burst of pace. He knows where the onion bag is. He scored some blinders for Leeds in the Premier League. For me, that's a signing that cannot be a bad signing, and that's because he's an attacking midfielder / some sort of forward / winger. He's going to provide competition for if Damari Gray stays. I know there's been a little bit about him. I can't see him leaving, by the way. I can't see Everton letting him go, but you know, whatever. The media will report what they want to report. Jack Harrison is going to provide competition for everyone in those positions, especially if Dele Alli is coming back and he does want to fight for his place. And you know, Dyche has had this chat with him, which I'm super excited about if that's true. And because if he's going to get Dele Alli playing, Rhiad, that is like a world-class signing for Everton if he can get him playing. Because the ability Dele Alli's got is crazy. And don't forget, he's younger than Jack Grealish. So a lot of potential there. So for me, Jack Harrison coming in, providing competition for these places, you know, towards McNeil, towards Gray, towards Dele, even you know, keeping the likes of the younger strikers on the toes, anyone in the midfield. I think he provides something Everton don't have, which is a true winger, not a winger who's trying to be a striker, not a winger who's trying to be a fullback, not an attacking mid who's trying to be too far or too far back the pitch. You know, I think he fits something Everton need. He brings good tempo, good pace. I'd have him. I think he's a really positive sign, especially if he's going to be on a free.
I think the issue for me is, and it's going to be like this throughout the transfer window, is that every report we're facing competition, and West Ham have just won the Conference League. Newcastle are playing Champions League, and Spurs are Spurs. We've got. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be hard for Everton to let players in, especially with the money and the finances we've got. We're not going to be able to 10 players in, so it just looks like a summer of free agents and loans to me.
Yeah, well, that's what I said before. To be honest, I think if we're being realistic, I think that's all it's going to be, a summer of free agents or loans. But I agree. It's a really tough time to be Everton in the transfer window because, like you say, the clubs all around us that are competing with us. I think really, unless a player knows English football really well, I think you're probably going to go to West Ham over Everton right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Unless you know English football heritage really well and know how big of a club Everton are, because West Ham are a big club as well. They're not bigger than Everton, but they're a big club. We can't compete with the likes of the Villas, who are going to take all the Leicester's players, and the Spurs, who are going to take Leicester's players. That's just not going to happen for Everton. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to try and find a way to attract these players over the likes of, your West Hams, the teams coming up as well. The teams coming up, they're always a surefire transfer for the teams who've gone down. If you remember Notts Forest, they signed loads of players from recently relegated clubs. So I think it's going to be tough. But you'd like to think Everton can come through. It's Everton. I know we all make jokes, but we are Everton, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? We're a massive club, new stadium incoming. I think everyone knows this last season isn't going to happen again under Dyche. I think really, truthfully, all Everton fans saw how much of an improvement there was. It was just almost too late. That was the problem. There was a huge improvement. I think everyone kind of knows it'll probably be the last year we're sucked into a relegation battle. So, I'd like to hope we can attract the likes of the Jack Harrison. If we can't attract Jack Harrison, Rhiad, we've got a big problem, you know what I mean? Big problem.
Yeah, spot on. Spot on. Right, well, that's all we've got for today. Thank you very much, Matty, for joining me, and up
No
the
worries.
choppies.